Business has exploded over the years. It seems like everybody is calling themselves a coach or a consultant today. A lot of competition. But in my business, I get to meet some of the best executive coaches and consultants around. And Lori Leavitt fits the bill. I recently sat down and had a discussion with this executive coach, this facilitator, the Pivot Catalyst. She's running a killer business. And I asked her about how she got started, how she's separating herself from the competition, and how she's working with the entrepreneurs that she's dealing with. You'll love this discussion with Lori Leavitt on this latest episode of Giant TV. Let's go jump in. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Giant TV. This is Paul Hitchcock. I'm the founder and president of Giant Jacks Media. We help you to grow and nurture your business. And really excited to have my guest, Lori Leavitt, here with us today. Lori, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, and you are a founder, you're an entrepreneur, you are the Pivot Catalyst for your business. And I want to just jump in to what you're doing. You and I have had a chance to talk before. It's fascinating, but tell our audience, what are you involved with your practice?
Yeah, and I will speak specifically about one of the reasons that I reached out to you. Or you reached out to me and I finally said, yeah, I'll talk to Paul. Why
not? You've been bugging me enough. Let me talk to him.
That's how it works, right? So I have run leadership peer groups live for a number of years, since 2014. And the transformation I have seen in these peer groups, I call them 10X. They are, and I actually got approval from Jim Collins's attorney to use that term.
Great,
so just so long as you don't put leadership right after. So it's the 10X Business and Leadership Peer Advisory Groups. Site is 10xpeers.com.
Yep.
And my vision is to run online groups.
Right.
And the reason why I want to do that, my purpose for doing that, is these groups are safe places for leaders to get the support they need to make their best decisions. It's not about tips and tricks. It is about anything that's going on that furthers or is blocking your ability to lead in the way that you want to.
Yeah, love it. And I want to get into who these people are that you want to work with and are working with. But what is your background? What have you done to leading up to where you are now?
So one of the reasons I call myself the Pivot Catalyst is I've been an entrepreneur for a number of years. And of course, my first pivot was moving from corporate to saying, wow, being out of corporate and going, wow, I'm an entrepreneur. This is why, maybe corporate wasn't the best fit for me. Corporate is a great fit for many. And I am not going to say it's not. At least when I was in corporate, if you are a high achiever, it doesn't always necessarily go so smoothly, and especially for a woman.
Right. No, yeah, totally get it.
And so there was a ceiling for my achievement, and there was backlash amongst peers of being assertive. Now, I am an entrepreneur. Yeah. I didn't know it at the time. And then when I got out and wow, this is why. The other thing was, even though I really never sought work-life balance. I mean, I can just work. And luckily, I've had roles where I love the work I do. And that work I've done is mostly helping leaders make decisions, negotiations, mergers and acquisitions, variance analysis, cost accounting, pricing, new markets, all of that kind of thing, where you have to meet with everyone in the organization to really understand what's going on and report that in a way their leadership can really understand it. And so loved what I do, but didn't necessarily love the environment I was in.
Yeah.
I helped them pivot. We didn't use the word then,
right?
But I helped many. And then when I became an entrepreneur, I pivoted many times. And what I realized And why I say the pivot catalyst is because two things. One is you can ready your organization, no matter how small you are, to have change be smoother, to not be a push, to not be trying to get buy-in and compliance, an environment where change is just natural.
What kind of change are you talking about?
So when I say a pivot, so the pandemic pivot, it wasn't natural, right?
No.
And people went through it, and it's amazing what some people could do, but it was a huge urgency. It's kind of make or break for the business.
Yep.
Which is a compelling reason for people to do it. But if those leaders think that everybody in their organization is going to change again quickly, probably not, because they usually haven't set the stage for that to happen. It's not something that you just command, we're going to do this. And everybody's like, oh, I know exactly what we're doing, and I will love to do that.
No, not going to happen that way.
Yeah.
So Lori, what are you, so these peer groups, tell me about the execution of that. Who are you working with? Who do you like to work with? And what's happening in that scenario?
I was just talking to someone about this because, one, I am not a marketer or a salesperson, although I've closed huge deals. I know how to sell. And certainly what you're often told is, you have to identify your market by, say, a range of employee count or a revenue range or the industry it's in or something like that. Otherwise, it's too big.
Mm-hmm.
With these peer groups, really the qualifier is character.
Character of the person.
Character traits and how they want to be as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
So although when you ask, who do I like to work with? I love working with the larger small businesses where the leaders want to change something, but they've been in their business for a long time. And there's just those challenges that change is not easy. But that doesn't mean I don't work with very large organizations as well. And occasionally a startup, if they have the character.
Yeah, it's
Would
interesting.
You like to know the character I look for?
Absolutely. And I just want to say there too, when you said that, it just in my mind, a bell went off because I love the Shark Tank. I watched that, and Barbara Corcoran is on there. And she said at first when she got on the show, she was losing a lot of money on deals she was getting involved in over and over because she was focused on the product and mesmerized by the product. And she said, I started making money when I shifted to the person. And I said, if the person's got a great character and they're a leader, it doesn't matter what the product is. We can fix it. It's the person. And she started making money. So it kind of goes in line with what you're saying there.
That.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
And I love that you said that because you are a marketer. Yay.
Absolutely. So what's the character you're looking for?
So the character traits I look for is, one, curiosity.
Curiosity.
And I define that as you know a lot, but you're not a know-it-all.
Okay.
And if someone is coming into this group as a know-it-all, they're not open. So and it's not about me. So I'm going to say me and the group, our ability to help the person grow, which usually involves change of themselves, is going to be very difficult and also kind of painful for everybody else who wants to be in an environment of growth.
Right.
The other is courage. And courage, if anybody is familiar with Brené Brown, will understand this, includes the courage to be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. So if you step into the group and you are not willing and open to talk about, to really get deeper into a topic, then again, it's just not going to work. It also will inhibit others feeling safe around you to speak up, and that you truly are there to support everyone's success.
If someone doesn't have courage when you first talking to them, they're the lion from the Wizard of Oz. They don't have it and they need to go get it. Can someone get courage? Can you coach them through to get it?
This isn't courage in that it's bravery. So a good example might be a very aggressive entrepreneur that ends up being a know-it-all, right? And just wants to talk about tricks and tactics.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be a great fit for the group.
Mm-hmm.
So bravery with courage to move forward, absolutely you can get that. And you can be in the group and you can get that, you can grow in that particular character.
Mm-hmm.
But the character of being willing to speak up, you have to say, you know, I don't do that well, but I am willing to grow. And I have seen that as well. So it's not that they have to be excellent at it. They just need to be, again, have that courage to be
Yeah.
willing to
Willing.
do it.
So then what do you, so now you've got a
Okay,
mix of these,
can I say
yeah,
the last
yeah,
one?
yeah,
Okay,
please.
the last one is just kind of for me because these are the people I like to be around, and that is tenacious.
Tenacious.
I want
okay.
to be around those, which is also, you know, these are the people who are going to be able to move through and get that significant change.
Yeah.
And pivot. The people who are tenacious.
Tenacious. Okay.
They have what it takes to move through, even if it's ridiculously hard.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a worthy goal, you can get it done.
Mm-hmm. Love it. No, love it. So you have, so let's say you have your group, these personalities you describe. What's happening? You're meeting once a month. What's the execution of how you bring it all together?
So right now I'm leading live groups.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned one of the reasons I replied to you was I want to launch online groups for greater diversity.
Right.
Because
diversity of what?
Of the people in the room. Greater, better, the greater the diversity with also inclusion. And I know these are kind of buzzwords now, DEI, but it really supports better decision making. You are going to have people around you who can ask questions that no one who's around you right now will have even thought of.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's safe, they will ask the questions that are even confronting that others might not bring to you. And because it's safe and everyone just wants everyone else's success, no one has an agenda where they want you to buy something for them, do something for them, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So with these, so reaching out online can help me go global, can reach the communities that are smaller, that don't necessarily have access to a live group unless they travel far.
Yeah.
Can reach the super busy, even big city leaders who are struggling with traffic again.
Yeah. Yeah. And what makes you good at in this position? I mean, what traits do you have, and where do you see your strengths in leading this group?
Well, one is I get the conversations, I get them. My role in this group, though, is not as a consultant. I used to be one, which is what the smartest person in the room that tells people what to do.
Yeah.
I don't do that in this group. Do I speak up sometimes as a peer and give advice? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But my role is not as the consultant in the room. It is as the coach and facilitator. So I will understand where the conversation is going and can really help people dig in to what is going to help the person that we're supporting most.
Okay.
I also bring in thought leaders. I have a huge network of people who are just amazing. I mean, they would charge many thousands of dollars to speak, and they will either for the longer groups, the live groups, they will come in for up to 90 minutes and just, and these are not like standing in front of you just talking.
Yeah.
They might give some presentation, but then it's completely interactive. We might even do decision support with them.
Nice.
And then in the remote groups, because the online groups, because they need to be shorter, these are drop-ins.
Right.
So this is what we're struggling with right now. So I'm going to bring in this person and they're going to come and talk to us for 15 minutes.
Right. Yeah, love it. No, fantastic. So you're then do you meet one-on-one? So you have these peer groups. Are you meeting one-on-one with folks online?
Yes. So we meet monthly. The one-on-ones are optional. sometimes people need them. I keep the groups small. My groups are between 7 and 10 people.
Good size. That's good size. Yeah.
Because everyone in that means that everyone in the room has a voice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's no one that actually gets off not
Right.
speaking.
Yeah.
Everybody is going to speak when they're in the room because we're getting stuff done.
Yeah. You can't hide in a corner in a group like that and not
Right.
participate. You got to get in there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I do the one-on-ones, especially for those that are, say, in succession, if they're in what I call the shift group. So maybe they are shifting from being an expert to getting better as a leader. And so perhaps there's some more in-depth one-on-one time that we need to get them through that.
Mhm.
Perhaps they're operationally excellent at their business, but strategy is, they just really have never had to learn it. They go into the strategic planning sessions and it's just an incremental, let's increase 10%. I mean, they don't really get strategy, and we may spend more time on that. That's just a couple of examples.
Yeah. And you've got to be a great listener, Lori. I mean, it just goes without saying, right? I mean, people, when you're doing the one-on-ones, you got to be an empathic listener, I would imagine. Is that a fair statement?
I am, however, I am not a therapist.
Mhm.
So I call myself a performance coach in this role,
Mhm.
which means if you don't know what you don't know, then I'm going to give you some ideas of what you might think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that is going to serve you best. If
Mhm.
I just continue to try to draw it out of you, but it's not even in your circle of thought, then, how's that going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, you're not a therapist, because I have some issues to talk to you about. I was going to bring them out right now. I get it. I get it. No, you serve a very, very important purpose there with the groups. Fascinating stuff. I mean, you and I have talked offline. I could talk for hours with you about this. Very interesting. I want to tell everybody that's listening, this streams everywhere. So you may be watching this on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Zoom, don't know where, but Lori's information is going to be around this video wherever you're watching it. You want to get connected to her. Dynamic, good person to be, network with. And Lori, I want to say thank you for being here. I want to track your progress. I'd love to keep having you on and seeing what's going on, but thank you so much.
You're welcome. And if people do want to reach out to me directly, and I do read my email, but be specific, please, is Lori, Lori, at thepivotcatalyst.com.
Got it. Lori at thepivotcatalyst.com.
Yes.
Got it.
You can
Great.
also use my name here if you see it. That's also an email, but easier to remember, The Pivot Catalyst.
Absolutely love it. Thank you, Lori. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay.